Hey everybody, what's up? Wavejump here and welcome back to the video. Today I am covering the command block essentials. Now, this isn't of course every command block command whatsoever, and there are some more commands I would consider essential, but I'm going to be focusing on a few really essential command block commands, and I may have covered, in fact I probably have covered a lot of these in my previous episodes in this series, but this episode is more meant for people who haven't seen those previous episodes and who just kind of want to learn the essentials. Some of them I don't think have, I know at least one of them I haven't covered in this series yet. So anyways, yeah, we're going to be going ahead and covering the command block essentials. Thank you for 637 subscribers. We're getting close, of course, closer and closer to 650, and after that, I don't know, we'll see what our next subscriber special will be, but I have to figure out also what to do for that. Anyways, moving on here, we're going to head over onto the first essential command, and the first essential command here is set block. Set block obviously is a very simple one. It goes along with fill and a couple of other commands, but essentially it lets you set blocks. And so of course the way it works is you do, if I run /set block here, you notice you do set block x, y, and z, which are the coordinates of the block. In this case I'm using these tildes, and these tildes, again, one of the more essential things to know, are signify relative coordinates. So what does that mean? Well, for example, tilde, tilde, tilde. If I did that, you'll notice it sets it right where my feet are, because it's setting the x, y, and z position of my feet. Say, for example, I want it to place right above this command block. Now, I could do 55, 23, negative 273 based on this, but I could, for example, if I walk this way, you'll notice x goes -1. So I could do set block tilde, 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 except for the first one would be -1, because I'm going -1 in that direction. It essentially just lets you set coordinates relative to where the person is. And of course with set block you could add a bunch more information. For example, if I want to set it to log, I could then say 1 and it'll turn to spruce log, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 20, okay, 15. And you could have all sorts of different stuff set. Obviously it is a fairly simple command, but it lets you do all sorts of complex stuff. Everything from, wireless redstone to, setting up certain mechanics in the game. Okay, next is the kill command. Now the kill command, probably the most simple command I'm going to be covering ever, other than maybe the seed command, because the kill command allows you to, well, kill entities. So you notice when I run /kill, it'll just kill me. And of course if I were to click the command block, what this does, it'll kill everything that's not a player. So there's another crucial thing, it's selectors, and actually I have a video on selectors. You could find it by Googling it, and if I remember I'll put it in the description, but I know I won't. So anyways, I would run that command, but I have this armor stand for future use in this video. Moving on here anyways, to the third command is the execute command. Now the execute command is a command that probably is, one of the most important ones. It's also a command that I have covered in the first episode of this series, and I will go more in depth in that video if you want to take a look at that. But the execute command essentially allows you to go ahead and run a command as if you were that entity or at that entity's location. Kind of like similar to relative coordinates, but relative coordinates can actually be used in it. So say, for example, I wanted to go ahead and take every player whose score, for example, objective would be 1. Now currently I'm using my Wavejump YT account, so my score is 1. So what this command does, it says execute, and then it takes add a, which is everybody, but everybody whose score of example objective is 1, and exactly. And then it'll take at their current location, have it say I've been executed. So when I run that, you'll notice my score for example objective is 1, so it'll run. If I go scoreboard players set Wavejump YT example objective 2, you notice it won't work anymore. Now I should actually mention, I just realized I should have covered scoreboard as one of the essential commands, but there you go. There's another command you should learn. Scoreboard is hugely important, and I do have a video on it, I believe, in the series, as my episode 2 of this command block tutorial series, of my 1.12 series, of course. So, anyways, execute also lets you, for example, detect blocks. So, for example, you could have it so that whenever a player is standing on water, it'll turn to lava or something, or standing next to water, it'll turn to something using the detect function. But again, I'm not covering that in this episode specifically, and you could see that covered in a different episode if you'd like. Alright. Now the last command I'm going to be covering today is the entity data command. Now this is one I believe I haven't covered in this series yet, but the entity data command is a very, very important command that you should definitely learn how to use because it's just incredibly important. Now the entity data command allows you to do really cool little things. For example, if I wanted to make a pig fly, I would do entity data at e type equals pig. And then I would, right, so first off, I'm selecting the pig. And then I open these curly brackets. I'm going to say no gravity 1b. And now that pig does not obey gravity. There you go. That's all you need to do for the entity data command. In order, for example, to see all of the parameters for entity data for a pig, I would just do entity data at e type equals pig. And then just do 2 curly brackets, and it'll say the data tag not change and give me all the different information. For example, I could change it a bit and have, for example, let's make it so that we could make it so that it'll fall flying, which is if you equip Elytra, it'll then act as if it's using it, or Elytra if you want to pronounce it that way. I could give it special amounts of health. It's always difficult to find things to demonstrate here, but there are a lot of really fun ones. I could, for example, do health 1F, I believe. And what that'll do is it'll give it almost no health left, so I could just punch it and it'll die. Now, I also did go ahead and create an example here with an armor stand, and you'll notice it has no base plate 1b, small 1b, and show arms 1b. So that means you'll see the transformation in just a second. But first off, I want to take a moment to thank Shatter, Betanoir, LuluK20, and Betanoir/LuluK22 on Patreon for supporting me. Betanoir is a fairly new patron and is helping me to create these videos and fund my server. So thank you for that. I've actually gone ahead and added their heads in this world as a little kind of, thank you to them. And here is Betanoir in the form of an armor stand. And you'll notice here when I go ahead and click, because I set the base plate to be disappeared, the armor stand to be small and arms to be shown, it does this. That's a little cute little Betanoir. And yeah, it's a lot of fun to just mess around with, and I would highly recommend messing around with entity data because it could be hugely useful. Now again, I'm actually going to go through right now my episodes list and tell you which ones are absolutely crucial to learn. Or actually, I'm going to go over what these commands do in case you want to know, because obviously this is targeted towards very beginners. So tellraw goes ahead and lets you output text to chat, but it doesn't have to be necessarily the say command, which doesn't give you that much freedom. It just does that. The execute command, again, I covered, and you may want to see more about that there. The title command lets you display text in the center of the screen. Scoreboard, again, very important. It lets you kind of store and fetch data. The trigger command lets you go ahead, or works hand in hand with scoreboard, and test for works in hand with selectors, which again are also very important. Game rule lets you change certain aspects of the game. Replace item will let you go ahead and replace any of the slots in a player's hotbar. And kill will go ahead and, well, I covered that one already as well. Functions let you go ahead and use commands outside of the game. It's actually a very cool thing, and you can store them in text files. Fill, clone, and set block let you set blocks, of course, and clone kind of, basically allows you to move a group of blocks or move or copy blocks from one place to another. Selectors, again, super important. For example, you could test for where a player is. Particle, place sound, and seed are also very important. They kind of let you go ahead and, particle lets you go ahead and add little visual effects. Play sound lets you play sounds to the player, and seed lets you see the world seed. And of course, we're left with this episode. I'm actually thinking I might do for the next episode just going through every single command and explaining what it does, because that could be very useful to some people. Anyways, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. I do a bunch of these command tutorials, and I upload once a week. I also do some community stuff, but that is separate, and of course you may just be here for the command block stuff. But anyways, I hope you have enjoyed this once again. Thanks for watching. Bye.